In some ways, Trials Rising brings the series more back to its roots than the most recent iterations, removing things like the trick system to sort of get back down to the core gameplay that people have liked for so many years now. And it does so incredibly well with some new additions that really help accessibility as well as sort of making people who are good at the game even better. But it's also marred by some weird design decisions that really can hold back the game from being even better than it already is. But I'll start with one of the best things of it, and that is the tutorial system. The series actually has always been really fun, but has always sort of lacked the teachings of the nuances that's required to excel at the hardest tracks. And here in Trials Rising there is a really comprehensive school that teaches you all about the leaning, about momentum, about getting over ramps, keeping speed going, as well as sort of little touches that just help improve your overall gameplay. And it's done with a nice little indicator down the bottom left hand corner as you're playing that shows sort of how much pressure you're putting on it. It teaches you things like putting your finger down the accelerator the whole time isn't actually a positive. So it's all about throttling at the right momentum and sort of pushing down slowly sometimes to get over certain jumps or sort of keep momentum on ramps. And that alone makes it feel like the best Trials game yet, just simply because you are learning and you finally know how to learn and then test that. But it's marred as well by a progression system that kind of doesn't make sense why it's implemented. In previous games you would go through a series of tracks, each would have a theme potentially, and you would also get to sort of move up the levels of it, and you get to see as they get harder that it is harder, and you sort of feel this consistent progression, like a good curve of more challenging levels. Here everything is laid out on a world map, and it's very hard to even tell if you've passed them for a while. There are little icons at the bottom of the avatar image, and for a while it takes a bit to sort of get to see if you've done it or not, and you kind of have to either hover over it to see if your time is recorded, or kind of get the differentiation between the different coloured skulls to know if you've passed it or even tried, or if you've gotten a silver or bronze. And it kind of gets confusing because you may think, oh, what was this level with, let's say, the forestry, and you're like, okay, where was that? Was it the US? Was it Europe? Was it Asia? And it kind of holds it back a little, which is kind of frustrating because the tracks themselves are probably some of the best designed and unique. Each one feels completely unique. In previous games, you'd have slight variations on a visual style, but every single track here feels different. And while that may make it sound like you should be able to find exactly where it is, just getting to what part of, let's say, it's America, just trying to remember what part of America's map it is. I know it's such a little gripe thing, but it's one of those perplexing design decisions that kind of just, to me, held it back from it being even more than what it is. But yeah, visually this game is pretty nice. It's definitely the best looking game in the series. It runs well enough. I've had some small hitches, but other than that it's ran pretty well. It looks pretty good. There's some great sort of pieces and set pieces going on, as well as just a lot of personality and activity going on in the background that just sort of enhances the overall experience. So while you're trying to get past a really tough section, there's always something to enjoy looking at. The only other negative thing I have to say about the game is the whole loot box system, which you don't pay money to unlock, but every time you level up you get a gear crate. But it's just, there's so much superfluous content and items in there that kind of just get in the way. There's a lot of customizable things, which is cool to customize your character, but it repeats so much that it kind of makes you feel like this system's been tacked on just to make it feel like a more modern, and I really put that in inverted commas, sort of title, and it just gets in the way in my opinion, and I don't really like it. But what I do like is the gameplay, and that's really all that matters in Trials. And it's not, to me, you can say it is more of the same, but there's so much added things to it, as well as the teachings of the tutorial system, that really makes this title in particular stand out. And where I've always sort of dropped off at some point in these titles, where you get to the extreme or the expert levels and you just can't get past a certain segment of maneuvers because you just don't know how to do a certain jump or bunny hop or sort of how to carry that momentum through. There is the school in this game, and it really gets intricate and detailed and really goes through all the necessary tricks you need to succeed, and I think that alone just makes me want to keep coming back to the game more and more. And it makes, at some point you do overlook the leveling system and the gear crates, but the fact that certain levels are actually locked behind your level progression is downright dumb in my opinion. Like, I remember playing the old games and you get bronze and then you kind of go, okay, now I'm ready to take and get a silver and gold, and it's your decision to improve on those levels. Here it's almost forced before you can progress, and it just gets in the way, which is the disappointing part, which means you are repeating levels even if you don't want to do it. And to me that holds it back a little bit, but it's weird. I'm talking as if like I've picked out pretty much every single negative of the game, but I haven't talked about every single positive. Just simply because it's so close to perfection in terms of its gameplay. It is incredibly satisfying. It's fun, it's funny, it's got so much personality. I love seeing every new level and figuring out what's there, and what's the new challenges, and just trying it over and over again when I wanted to do it. And yeah, I think Trials Rising is such a great new title from Red Lynx and Ubisoft that it was missed in a lot of ways, because you had the Trials of the Blood Dragon or whatever it was, and you had, I think, Evolution and things that tried to change things a bit too much in some ways. But here we're back to what makes this series so much fun. And yeah, if that's what you're looking for, it's definitely here. I just kind of wish certain progression and design decisions just never happened.